Great. All right. Okay, Alvina, I think we were on how many teams you currently support.
Yeah. So I was saying I currently support one team. My team was a newly created team, and so it's very different from all the other teams. So I support one team. There are other people who support two teams in my organization, but for me, I support one team.
Okay, so since you started working, you've been working with that particular team,
With
or
that
has
particular
anything
team.
changed? Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
that particular team, yeah.
All right, great. So now I'm just curious. When you got started, how did you hit the ground and start running? Just share with us a little on the strategy you used on hitting the ground and start running as a brand new person in the organization.
Yeah. So if you know me, I'm a very shy person and
I know
I
that.
don't talk much. But I've had to put that behind, and because the team looks up to you and everybody's looking up to you to share their ideas. And so when I first of all joined, I used within the first few weeks, because the person who was acting as a PO for the team, he used to be a former Scrum Master, and then he started acting as a PO. So he was doing PO duties and Scrum Master duties. So when I joined, I had to take over from him. And so the first weeks I was just observing. For like the first week, I observed all their daily stand-ups, their refinement meetings, and everything they had to do. I'll just ask if I have a question or two, I can just ask and just let them do their thing. And then I observed, and then I understood what is happening. And then I saw the way the team is. I gauged the level at which all the team members were. And from there, I had meetings with my manager, the person I report up to. I had meetings with him. I had meetings with my agile coach. I had meetings with my PO. My PO is the highest person I work with. I meet with it. Unfortunately, I am with him in St. Paul. I'm actually working hybrid. So I go into
Okay.
the office 3 days a week and I work
So
from
how are
home
you
for the
liking
rest.
that? How are you liking the hybrid approach?
I actually love it because when I'm in the office, there's a lot more things that I learned because I was in the office, and I got to know a lot more things compared to when I'm working remote. But I still like it because it's actually flexible. If I don't want to go in for some reason, I can just let my manager know that, okay, I'm not going in today for this reason.
Okay.
And so it's
Okay.
actually
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. The reason why I asked that question is because for some reasons, some team members or some people think they just cancel the whole in office from their plan. They don't want to hear nothing about it. That's why I'm bringing this up to let you
Yeah,
all know that Agile was not even designed for a remote
exactly.
setup
Mm-hmm.
at all. This only started being a thing recently around COVID.
COVID. Mm-hmm.
So please, you have to reset back to the original plan. And now most of these 100% remote opportunities are going away because they've seen
Yeah.
that regardless of how hard we try to make it work, there is a huge difference between really interacting with real people from a professional standpoint and just being behind your computer in your home office.
Yeah. And the truth is, you get to learn a lot more about your people, your teams,
Mhm,
when you are in person with them.
mhm,
I'm more connected to my organization just because I go into the office. You get to relate with other people. And
mhm,
I've never worked in the corporate world before, but
mhm.
now I have to go in. I'm learning a lot about the corporate world because I'm able to go into the office. So,
Beautiful. I mean, I hope you all are hearing these little things that she's saying. She's never been in the corporate world before, and she's killing it. Her performance review for this year was amazing, really. All right, let's move to the next question. So,
sorry, one thing I wanted to add before I diverted. So after I finished, when I observed and I saw the level of my team members where they were at, I had a one-on-one with my agile coach, and we decided that we would set up like a training session that my agile coach did just for my team. And I pointed out those things that I think that I saw that I thought were gaps, and my agile coach came in generally, not like she was coming in to tell the team about this, but she came in just like a refresher for the whole team so that we were all on the same page, and then we moved on from there.
Nice. That's good to know. So what are some of the, if I ask you like 1-2 wins that you can talk about, what are they? I mean, you've been working for almost a year now. So what are some of the things you are proud of?
So first of all, so my team, it's a really unique team in the sense it's different from all the other teams in the organization because it's more of a technical team. We do more of back-end work, and so it's a really technical team compared to the other teams that do a lot of deal with businesses. But one of the wins, when I went in, I had within my first, I think 4 months, I received an award that the organization gives. They call it RISE Award, RISE. They call it the RISE Award. And it was offered by somebody who is not even in my circle. We call it circle. It's more like a release train. So it was another team lead outside of my circle that he saw something that I participated in and I did well, and he offered me that award. So that was really something. That was one of the things that my manager was very proud about. And another thing too is with my team, as a team, we have become very close, and we're working, and we've set up training sessions. We've said because of the things that we've been discovering, my team and I will set up like knowledge transfer sessions, KT sessions, where we meet weekly just to share information and learn. Other team members are cross-training other team members just so that we all have a balanced idea of what we are working on, because some people may know some other parts more than the other people. So because it was my team, they actually took people from different areas to make them into one team. So it's like 2 split teams. When I joined, it was like 2 teams in one, but we've been trying to accommodate and cross-train each other, and we are able to do things better. So those are some of the things that.
Beautiful. Thank you. So what I just heard from the last point you said, to me, I see that as you and your team's journey towards becoming more cross-functional, and more self-managing and self-organizing. You see, what we usually talk here, I call it deep dive sessions, KT sessions, that's exactly what she's talking about. And then another thing that I'm curious, that rice that you were handed, what was the thing you did to earn that? I want to know what you did.
So this was mainly because we were they had to organize something for the entire organization to work on. So I volunteered to be amongst the organizers. So there were 2 of us that volunteered, and we organized it, and it came out very successful. We had to organize. It was like a picnic for the entire organization. We had picnic. We had to figure out team building games that people would work together and build as a team, and just encouraging communication between people. So we did the event, we organized it, and it came out successful.
Awesome. Okay, on the other side, what are some of your challenges, some challenges you've encountered while working with that organization, and especially with your teams, knowing the ideal, what an ideal Scrum would be, and then what you're experiencing on the ground? What are some of the challenges that you've encountered?
Yeah, so the thing is, it's actually, as you said, ideal is very different, but when you're on the ground too, it's something else. One of our greatest challenges has been our backlog and having the way our work comes into the team. Our product backlog, that was one of the highest challenges that we had. And I've been working with my PO a lot, and we've been trying to get that. Work used to just come in. We have an engineer who is like the main person. So people will bring in work to that engineer, and my PO will not even know that we have this work. And they will only hear that we have to deliver this work, maybe in April version or something. And they will be scrambling on that. So we've had to set up like a channel, a distribution link where if you have work, we've communicated it to the entire organization. So we set that up, we made an email, myself and my PO, we sat down, we designed a letter or a note, created that particular channel and then sent it out to the entire organization that if you have work for us, send it through this. If you don't send it through this particular channel, we're not going to be doing this work for you. So gradually, a few still coming from sites, but
it's
most of the time now, it's far better than before.
Awesome. So team, what I'm hearing, especially my level 2 people, what I'm hearing here is that she was able to, in partnership with her manager, design an intake request process. Out of the challenges, that means inside the challenge that they encountered, they were able to switch it around, they closed that gap by designing an intake request process. With that, any work that has to come to their team is passing through the same tunnel or funnel to get into the team. So all right, awesome. That's great. Thank you. So what are some of the tools that you've used or you're using with your organization to keep your work organized?
So we use Rally to manage our work. And then we use Microsoft Teams for most of our meetings, sometimes Zoom. I use Mural for my retros. There's another organizational tool that was created. They call it Hindsight, which they use for retro as well. And then we have a planning poker that our organization created just for us for our estimation too. So
beautiful. That's amazing. But are you familiar with the tech stack that your team, your dev team is using, the technology stack?
Yes, we use mostly we use GitHub repository, and then most of our work, they do .NET, they do JavaScript, they use React. Those are the main things that they use.
Okay, team, I hope you're taking your notes so tomorrow you're not come and ask Karen, because I don't know. Thank you. All right, so now, do you mind sharing with us a little bit about your team dynamics in terms of how they show up, the values that they represent, and if you've been able to play any role around how they show up as a team? That's what I call the team dynamic. So just talk to us a little bit about your team dynamic, and then also talk to us about the team structure. How many people do you have on your team, and is that okay? Do you have any challenges with the team size, or it's just okay? So I'm just curious to know.
So currently my team, we are 10 of us on my team. So myself, my PO, and then we have 8 developers. And the thing is, my developers, they do everything. They do from the development right up to the testing, and we release to production. So we are responsible for everything.
Okay. 5
of my developers are offshore. So they're in India. And then I have 3 who are here in the US. But Eastern, most of them, I think all of them are Eastern time zone. So it's just my PO and myself who are in the Central time zone.
Okay.
And most of the time, when I joined, the offshore people will just be quiet, and whatever is dished out, they just say yes. And they're ready to do the work. They are much anything you say. If we have to do some estimation for some stories, we're doing stories. Whatever the people in the US say, they just go with it. But over time, what I do is I actually intentionally prompt them. If there's something, if for example, we are working on a story, I call them out. What do you think? Do you think I call the person, for example, and say, okay, what do you think about this? Is that okay with you? Or what's your understanding about this? In that way, they're loosening up. I've been having numerous one-on-ones with them. I've scheduled, I have like bi-weekly one-on-ones with each of them. So we just discuss things outside of work, just knowing them personally. If some of them have something like maybe a wedding coming up, or they have a birth of a child, I just bring up something. I can create like a mural for team members to add in congratulatory thoughts. And then that way it has gradually, the team is loosening up. You have a lot more people talking, and you really see that the team dynamics is going on well, and there's a lot more communication. It's not perfect yet, but
Yeah.
we're still heading there. Yeah.
We don't even want perfection. We don't want that. We just want progress. That's what
Yeah,
matters. That's
exactly.
amazing. I mean, this last thing Alvina just said, it's a lot into what she just said, the different things that she has done to help her team be more engaged and feel like they're part of the initiative. Instead of just saying yes, yes, yes. I can easily see that happen because I have a long history of experience working with team members based in India. For some reason, not only India, even I have team members that also based in Africa. For some reason, they always have that impression that those that are in the US are way superior. That is what I experience. And then with that, anything that those that are based in the USA is a yes. They don't say anything. Even if they don't agree, it's a yes. They don't have the guts to speak up. So as a Scrum Master, when you see things like that, it's not okay. It's not okay. You have to do something about it to make everyone understand that here everyone is the same, which is what we call respect in one of the Scrum values. Everyone's opinion matters. That psychological safety is important. And you cannot talk about psychological safety without talking about respect. It just cannot work. So you have to start taking steps, applying your soft skills to see how you want to change that. Awesome. All right. So which framework does your team use? Is it Scrum or Kanban?
So we use Scrum, but we have some kind of mix of Kanban.
Okay, how is so?
Mostly, so we have Scrum. We follow up we do all the Scrum activities. We have the sprint planning, retrospective, and review, and all of that. But for Kanban, we use Kanban mostly at the level of our features. We have what they call the rapid process, and that's the way our features move from when it's created to when it's ready for work, when it's implemented, if it's deployed, and when it's done. So we follow that, our Kanban board, for that process.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, I think that's really a good approach. All right. So now I'm just curious, how does your team measure value? Do you have any way to measuring how you're improving or how you're creating value as a team or as a Scrum Master? You can speak from any of those two directions.
So mostly we use the metrics that we use to measure. We have the metrics we use, mostly we have the committed versus delivered. So we see how much we committed to for that sprint and how much we delivered. That's one of the things we use. And then we also have what we call the cumulative flow diagram.
Okay.
That one shows us, it's like a burn up chart, but
it's in almost all of these tools. It's in Jira, it's in Rally, it's in Azure DevOps.
Yeah, so we use that as well. Those are the main two that my team uses.
And then during your performance evaluation, how did they measure you? How are they able to measure your performance?
Okay, my performance or the performance of my team?
Your performance as a Scrum Master.
Oh, so we have organizational values that they have them listed out. And for each category, you have to say, okay, in this category, this is what you did, this is what you did, this is what you did. And then you and your manager, you talk about it. And if they agree on that, they can give you the point for that. Otherwise, no.
Okay. Otherwise, 0. So do you mind sharing with us like one or two of those points of those categories that you have on whatever the metrics you're using to measure yourself?
Yes. So one of them is servant leadership.
Okay.
The servant leadership, how you interact with your team, if you're able to influence your team, how your team, the dynamics between you and your team, how you act, how you form part of the team, how you relate with your team. So that's one of them. Just seeing that you are able to, one of the things, let me just give an example that what my manager was really happy about. My team members trusted me. That was just about 4 months into me working there. And they had something, they were doing something, and they actually came to me to help them to do testing on that particular work. So they had done the work and they just before they wanted to show to my PO, they brought it to me to go through it and do some testing before they take it up to the PO. So it was like a review, to do a review before the PO. So that was like a level of trust, showing that they trust you as part of the team.
Beautiful. So how are you able to do that? Did they teach you, or did you just know it? I'm just curious, girl.
I asked questions and they showed me,
Nice.
they walked me through and showed me that, okay, this is what it's supposed to do and this is how it is. So I go through it and then I look at it.
Tim, the reason why I'm asking all of these little details is so that you know when it's okay to ask questions, rather than saying, oh no, that's not my job. Or another common thing people may say is they would say, okay, they will take it, and then they have no clue what they should be doing. And then they're afraid to ask, and then they're just looking dumb. Like, don't do that to yourself. No, you need to know when it's okay to ask questions. Anything that's outside of the standard Scrum Master, key things, it's okay to ask. Even if you are not sure if you should ask or not. That's why we have the community of practice. That's why we have most of the time Google. The first bus stop is a community of practice. If you post there and check, this is what they're asking me to do. Is this okay? They will tell you if it's okay to ask questions, and then you can go ahead now and ask it.
Yeah, always ask questions. I used to be afraid to ask questions at first. And then people who have been longer than me will ask questions that I even know the answer. I'm like, oh, and so I can ask questions. Yeah, so
yeah, I can see that happening.
I always ask questions.
Nice. That's great. All right. And by the way, I used to be a tester as well, not as a profession, just by doing what I do. So I happen to learn how to test and stuff like that. Okay, we just have some couple of questions here, and then I'm going to leave you alone. Now, one thing that I'm sure team members will be curious to know. I already mentioned that Avina started from level 1. We started with a conversation. We met in a gathering. And then in the course of exchange, what do you do? What do you do? And then I'm like, you should be a very good Scrum Master. You will be a very good Scrum Master. And then she asked, what was that? I told her, this is how it works. This is how I'm like, okay. And then when I shared the flyer, she saw that again. And then she reached out like, okay, this thing you told me the other day, just tell me more. Then the next thing I did was I sent her the Scrum guide. That read it. If you resonate with this from what you see in the Scrum guide, then you can reach out to me. And if you're reaching out, you should be ready, because I don't babysit. That's one thing I always tell people. I don't babysit nobody. So she read it. I think she really saw herself doing it. And then she said, I want to attend the January class. I'm like, okay, fine. And when she came in asset with everything to succeed or to succeed. There was no other option, So, Avina, how long in total from level 1 all the way to level 2 did you take to finally achieve your goal of landing that job? And again, she didn't only land one job, by the way. So how long did it take you?
So I joined level 1 in January. So we started January, and I joined level 2. I was supposed to join level 2 in February, but when I joined level 2, I delayed a little. I stayed for about 2 weeks. So it was mid-February or towards the end of February that I was able to update my resume and start applying. And then I finally started getting interviews, and I got my offer letter on March. I think my first offer was March 25th. So that's roughly about 3 months for level 1 and 2.
Nice. And the very first interview she had, the very first one, she got the job.
Yeah.
The very first one.
Yeah, that was my first interview.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's really amazing. Now, so what were some of your self-development strategy, or I would say learning strategy, throughout the program, especially in level 2? Well, I would say right from level 1, what was your strategy? So maybe you can touch on level 1 and then level 2, especially level 2, because I just want to make sure that if anyone has any blind spot, maybe this is an opportunity for them to pick up and close their blind spot, so that they're achieving their goals. So what was your strategy?
So for level 1, I think mainly attending, making sure I attended all of the classes and being attentive. And when we have the everything we do in level 1, just the first thing is just having the daily stand-ups that we have in level 1. That's a big boost. It makes you to understand what it's going through. And then level 2, I did not have too much time I have kids. I have 4 kids and they are really young and it's a lot of work. So I was not able to really listen and do things and really go into all the video. I did not even listen. I'm not sure I listened to 1/10 of 1/5 of all the videos that we have, a lot of material.
And you don't have
but
to really.
I was very attentive when we come and we are answering the questions that I'm able to attend the sessions. I made sure I was very attentive. And something that really helped me is when I'm attending the session, I try to put myself in the place of I'm the person. I'm trying to live it, make it like it's my life. So right now, Carrie, I'm sorry, but I'm still living your experiences. So your experiences, I'm taking it, I'm owning them as if they are my experiences, and I'm
which is why we share them here, so you can borrow them.
Right now, even when I'm talking, sometimes I'll give to my team, I'll give an example of something, but it was borrowed experience, but I have that in my mind as part of my experience. So I try to live it, and which the basis is just understanding what it's meant to be, and then live it, that experience. Okay, if you were the one in this situation, what would you do? Or what's the logical thing to do in this situation? With that, you can transfer it to the other, even the questions that you have never seen answered in class, you'll be able to transfer that experience and adjust it to be able to answer that question.
Nice. I just love what you said, because I say that all the time here, that nobody should be coming here to memorize anything. Because if you're memorizing, if they don't ask those questions the same word for word, you will not be able to answer them. The reason why I share all of my experience is so that you can now take it and then make it your own. Carve out your own story that you can tell even out of your sleep. That way, regardless of how they twist the question, you will be able to say something that will make sense. So that is really, really important. And then another thing that I just want to ask, I'm a very big note taker. So I always encourage the team to please get a notepad, take your notes and all of that. So I'm not sure if that is something you did, or what was your approach around that? Did you just listen and keep them all in your brain? I cannot do that, because the very next second you ask me one thing, I will not know.
I take notes, particularly the things that I made sure that I remember. I made sure that I had to write it over and over. Like my tell me about yourself, transition story. Those ones I had to write it over and over, take notes about it. And then the way I take notes, I mainly take headlines. I just put like dashes. So I'm not a very good note taker, but I make sure that I just take main
the key points.
I take the key points, and if I have an understanding of that thing that I have listened to and I just write down the key points, I'll be able to remember that.
Nice. Great. Thank you so much. Now, I think we have the last question here. So, what advice do you have for those that are currently listening to you and they are really believing and doing whatever they are doing to get to where you are right now? If I ask just one advice, what would that be?
Just continue having the confidence, because I think confidence is one of those things that when you go in and you show that you're confident, it comes across, because if you go and you're doubting yourself and you're doubting what you say, they would see it. But just have that confidence. After all, it's your experience. They may have experienced something else. This one is your experience. It may be different from the way they experience it. So just have the confidence and show them that even if you don't know it, tell them confidently and say what you know, and then tell them that maybe it's different or you don't know the particular one. So confidence.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. And again, even if you don't know it, vet it from the community of practice before you go blow your cover.
Exactly.
If you don't know it, please say, I'll get back to you in 1 second.
Yeah.
Just text. I mean, when you get a job, I typically ask if you would like to become a member, and it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. So if you say yes, I add you. And there, anybody ask anything as long as you keep it respectful. So that's it. I just wanted to also say that. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Alvina. So I just want to check if anyone has any question for Alvina at this point. Keep in mind that we also will still have celebration to do. If you have questions, please raise your hand. All right, Millicent. I know it's Millicent. Go ahead with your question, please.
How many certifications did she get before? I think I was out. I don't know if she answered it. How many did she
ask that
write?
question. Go ahead, Avina.
Certifications, I just did the PSM1 certification.
Oh, great. Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. So Millicent is actually part of our level 1. So yeah, the PSM is what Alvina has.
PSM1.
And again, team, it doesn't only mean that you have to end there. You have to develop yourself, keep going. You cannot just do, in this whole agile space. And another thing too that I want to say is that it's really not about how many, you don't need many certifications to get in. That's a perception that so many people have. They want their chasing certifications, they do PSM1, PSM2, they go to CSM, they go to SAFE, they go to all of that. You don't need all of that. If you just follow the path that I know that I'm providing and it has worked, it is working, you shouldn't have any problem getting in. And then once you're getting in now, you have clarity on the direction that you want to take in terms of growth. Then you can now follow that direction and take more certifications.
And leverage the organizations usually have a lot of trainings that they are doing. I attend a lot of trainings right now.
Yes.
A lot of them. So
yes, nice. So, but to get in, again, so you don't need 5, 3, 4, 5 certifications. If you have the means and then you have the time to add, please do. But I'm saying that do not prioritize that over getting mentoring to land that first opportunity. That is, if that's your goal. If your goal is to land a job, because many people take the program for different reasons. If that's your goal, then you should prioritize getting that job first, and then you can add more certifications. And that time you'll be coming from an informed place because you really know what you want in terms of growth. All right, let's go to Relinda's.
Hey, Abina, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Yeah, I have 2 questions for you. The first question is, since you join your new organization, how far is the maturity level? And secondly, have you experienced any resistance with any of your team members?
Okay, thank you. So when I joined my organization, actually, they used to do SAFE before, and they've transitioned from SAFE. So they're doing another thing. They're calling it Agile 2.0. So they've retrained everybody. It's for the maturity level, I can say for my team, it's different from other teams. For example, my team, I can say I really have a lot of experienced developers who've experienced a lot more, have a lot longer experience with Agile. So we are still working to improve. We still have things to improve on our story writing. We're still working on that. We're still working on a lot of things, just our processes and how we do things. But they're pretty, I can say, like, if we have a 5, I would say my team alone is around 3 on 5, but we still have a lot to do. Nice. And the thing is that changes because I've had a lot of onboarding and offboarding of other team members. So I had a team member go, a new one coming. When that new team member comes, we are like starting the team all over afresh again. We have to still go storming and the norming phases. So we still have to go through that.
I saw that you really learned from level 1. Talking about storming.
Yeah, so we have to start afresh again. I have to go through with that team member and we'll have like a session just to teach the team member of what we have to do, the way we do things. We've had to review our team charter. We've worked on our team charter. We've reviewed it, updated all those, our definition of done, our definition of ready. We do all of that just to keep on improving. And the second question was any resistance. So far, I've not really had, I would have from the beginning, I thought it was resistance with one of my team members. It's particularly somebody's onshore person. At first, I thought it was resistance, but as I've gotten to know that person more, because sometimes you say something and they'll oppose it, or they'll say, no, I already know that, or they'll not listen to you. So what I did is I just had meetings with that person. We talk about things outside of the teamwork. I just got to know the person. We connected on a level which is outside of work. And then when we came now to work now, I see gradually I'm able to communicate with that person more, and we understand each other better now. We talk and I understand his point of view. So, and then sometimes I know that sometimes he's a person that he does that with everybody. It's not just me.
Yeah.
So you get to know and you understand that, okay, it's not a personal resistance against you. It's just the way that person is. And then you know the way you react or you relate with that person.
I really, really like what you just said. And one of the big mistakes that especially new Scrum Masters or Scrum Masters that are not agile in their mindset, they're not agile, they easily just judge, just condemn or write off somebody, or they just assume that, oh, this person is very stubborn, this person is difficult. That's a word. And I would never use a word on a human being that this person is difficult, regardless of the symptoms that I'm seeing. No. Whatever behavior anyone is attributing, it's really based on where they are coming from, in terms of their environment, the work they've done, maybe whatever they went through as a child. It must be something. So I would never categorize a human being as difficult. At the end of the day, you realize that when you go and meet them, free your mind from any bias or judgment or anything, go connect with them to really listen and have an open, honest conversation, to really hear them, it will be different. That manner of approach, it changes everything for an agile practitioner. But if you go and you're already judging them even before starting to talk, it's not going to work. It will make your own life very difficult. So this whole 2023, I'm sure the last class we had, not even a class, the session we had when we gave made a candlelight for our dear team member who passed, I said, let's give each other grace. It's not only here, even at work. Don't just judge stakeholders from afar. Just give them grace. With that grace, just seek to go talk to them and hear what they have to say. And then based on that, you can determine what to do next. So I just want to also say that. Thank you very much, Nicolene.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm sorry I cannot come up. My kids are distracted.
It's okay.
Yeah, so my question to you, Alvin, is now that you have your role is hybrid, your job is hybrid, you have to go to the office sometimes and then sometimes work at home. So my question for you is, now when you go to class, go and get it from daddy, okay? I'm talking to my teacher, go away. All right, so my question to you now is, so why you go to work on days that you go to the office, is it usually 9 to 7? And if that's yes, how do you do your daily stand-up? Do you go with your computer and you sit there, and then, or how does it work? Like how does your day go when you're in office, and how does it happen how do you share it between home and office? It's kind of confusing to me.
Yeah. Okay, so I have my computer for when I joined in, they sent me a monitor. So I have a monitor at home that I use as well, but I just have to link my computer to it so that I'm able to have 2 screens to work with at home. And then when I'm going to the office, I just take my laptop. I have my team members are mostly offshore, so my daily stand-up is all my meetings that I have to have with the entire team have to be in the morning. So some days I'll have to have meetings from 7 a.m. So between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m., we have most of our team meetings at that time. Our backlog refinement is at 7 a.m. We have our daily stand-up at 8 a.m. Sometimes we have our retrospective about 7 a.m. So all of those meetings, just so that we should accommodate the offshore team members. And I've agreed, my PO as well is in Minnesota, so we work together, and we decided on days that we have 7 a.m. meetings, we work from home on that day. And then days that we have meetings, our daily stand-up at 8, we go into the office on those days. So it's just an agreement I had with my PO, and we discussed with the team to accommodate team members that are offshore as well.
Beautiful. At the end of the day, it boils down to conversation. Just have that conversation. Apply your 3 C's. The card, which is the issue.
Yep.
Have a conversation and then consensus. You're good to go. All right, let's hear from BB.
Hi, everyone. So I think
Hi.
she actually, in the course of answering all the questions, she has touched my questions.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you, Alvina.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alvina. I appreciate your time today. And again, team, I really apologize for that mess that happened. I will still figure out. I'm just hoping and praying that they've not compromised our entire system. I hope it's only that link. And again, the link was public. It was on LinkedIn. It was on YouTube. So I could see how that happened. And we always do that, but today I guess it's just unfortunate. Thank you so much. So if people are interested in connecting with you, how can they get to you, Alvina? I know you're very busy, and I know my people. If they want to get on your case, if they want to get on your case, so team, please be gracious as Alvina shares her, how they would connect with her.
Yeah. Okay, I can share my LinkedIn.
Okay.
On the board, yeah.
All right, no problem. So yeah, please post it on the chat, or better still, if you send it to me,
and
I will share with them.
Just one last thing, Karen.
Okay.
Just one last word for the class. Everything that Karen is saying in this class it's enough. We don't need more than what she's giving us in this class, because if we focus on what she gives here, it will take you far. I love this class, and I started work, and I have Scrum Master colleagues that have been on the job for a long time, but they were coming to me for questions. They were calling me the mural. They're calling me the mural expert. I've never used mural before I joined the organization. So everything that Karen is saying here, please just focus on it, and you can go outside, will distract you a little bit. You can focus on a few, but get a grasp of what she's saying and you'll be good to go.
Thank you. Thank you so much for saying that. The way I usually put it is that there's just so much noise out there. And I believe that's why you have decided to get out of that noise and you come here to pay 1,500. It's not cheap. So when you do that, just give a benefit of the doubt and put in just focus here, and then after that, when you're done, you can now go outside and consume more. But if you're here and then you're looking online and getting things, you will be overwhelmed. You will be overwhelmed, and then you will end up being shallow instead of being deep. And we can clearly make the difference between someone that is deep and someone that is shallow. The purpose of this program is to get you deep, not to leave you shallow, and which is why you will stand out instead of fitting in the organization. Thank you so much. Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, now let's quickly move to, so if anyone has any closing remark for Alvina before we do our little celebration, that would be great. All right, I see all the comments there, Alvina. Everyone is saying,
yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just searching
great,
for my
thank
LinkedIn.
you. Thank you. Amazing. Yeah. All right.
Thank
you. Let's start with who? Benjamina. Benjamina, thank you for, by the way, sharing the link when we got compromised. Appreciate that. And we also want to celebrate you. Congratulations for landing your job. Yay! Yeah, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud that you put in the work. I'm so proud that you finally achieved the result. And I know that you'll make an amazing Scrum Master. So you have 2 minutes maximum. Quickly just share with the team anything that you did, maybe differently, I don't know, that you think will be helpful to the team.
Thank you so much, Coach. Thank you so much, so much. The first thing I want to say is that when Coach says that she will not babysit you, she will not babysit you. That was something that, I'm like, oh yeah, I know, but I probably didn't understand what babysitting was. But then that is so true. Secondly, the next thing I want to say, if Coach says you need to go back to level 1, please go back to level 1. The reason I'm saying that is because when I joined, I was like, oh, and I was introducing myself. I remember I said, oh yeah, my name is Benjamina. I just learned about Scrum 2 weeks ago. And Coach was like, 2 weeks ago? well, see if you have any gaps, and if you need to go back to level 1, go back. And I was like, who's going to pay that money? But then it took me a long time of work. I should have just come back to level 1. But anyway, that's for the past. But that's just what I wanted to say. Thank you so much, Coach. I really cannot thank you enough. Thank you. I can relate so much with Alvina. But when I met you, I had not done well in my medical school exam, and I was so devastated. But meeting you was a life-changing experience, and I was just like, okay, I just want to succeed in this one thing, and it was amazing. Yes, you cannot consume the whole drive, but what you can consume is amazing. Sometimes I'm taking my interviews, and when I think of saying something stupid, I feel like Karen's by me, and just like, I will give you a knock on your head if you say anything stupid. So, and and sometimes me giving, I remember there was one in this job that I had, one of the interviewers asked me, so do you think your team will still need a Scrum Master if they are mature? And that there was a word that came, Karen's voice that kept ringing in my mind: continuous improvement, like you continuously working on yourself. And my answer I gave them was, in the past I've worked with a team that I've worked with them until they're mature, but one thing I realized is, as a Scrum Master, if I continuously improve on myself, I always have something to give back to my team. And they were so wild by it. But that was Coach's voice ringing in my head. I don't have much to say, but all I can really say is, then you're in the right place. Somebody asked me, so how long did you take to know Scrum like that? I said, and did you see to my coach? Just wait. And it was beautiful. It was, when sometimes my sister will hear me talk, and she's like, so this is just 3 months of Scrum that you're making as though you've worked 5 years. I said, yes, these 3 months you see me talk is somebody else's years of investment that they have given me, and they have poured into me. And hey, I have the job. In fact, I was able to negotiate a higher pay. I was able to push my start date.
Wow.
I was able to push my start date 1 month away, because I'm currently in Cameroon now. So it's like 11 a.m.
Nice.
But I was able to push my start date, and they were like, the manager really likes you. Even if you want to push your start date 1 month, she's still going to wait for you. And I was like, I couldn't contain the excitement. I called Karen, she didn't pick. I was like, big.
Yeah, and she's working like with one of the best companies to work with, really, in the US here. Really, one of the best companies.
Thank you, Coach.
Awesome. Yay. Yay. I'm so
all I
happy
have
for
to
you. Yes, I know that. I just know that you will be exceptional in your organization. Yeah. So any question for Benjamina? All right, let's move on. Let's hear from Bernice. Before we say anything, I want to say this again. I just want to remind us. I think that was like a month ago, if I remember correctly. In class here, this very class, I said something. I said, we all will be here to celebrate Bernice. If you people can remember, I said that. And the reason why I said that is because I said, based on my experience doing this is my life, this is what I do. I can tell when people will not stay here, when people will not have to still spend another 1,500 to renew their program. I can tell. And the reason is because the way they would interact in class, the way they would interact in the Jira platform, not because they know anything, but when a question is raised, they will attempt it. Even if what they say doesn't make any sense, but just that moment when you're attempting and then you're giving feedback, it doesn't go away. It sticks with you. And you may not realize it, but little by little, as you continuously do that, when you face a real interview, all of those things will start coming back to you. And you just speaking during these sessions, not just closing your mouth and hiding behind your computer or behind your screen. Not some people don't even turn on camera at all when they truly are able to. They just stay quiet. I don't even know. So you just speaking, you already flexing that muscle, and that's a huge part of boosting your confidence. And then by the time you go to the real interview, You're already used to speaking like that, so it's not going to be a huge deal. I'm going to upload Benny's interview in the drive very soon. You will listen to her and you will tell, you will be wondering if she's new here. I said it here that we all will be here to celebrate Bernice, and it has happened. So congratulations, girl. I'm so happy for you. So you have 2 minutes. Just quickly share with the team anything that you think will be helpful to them.
Thank you so much, Coach Karen. I want to thank everyone in this community of practice, my night Jira people, morning Jira. I want to thank you all, and I want to thank God that this happened, because myself, I can't believe it that finally I've seen the light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm a Scrum Master. Like my journey has not been an easy one. Last year was very rough for me, and I went through a lot of interviews. And at the end of the year, I realized that my foundation was faulty, because I'll go through interviews. I had a lot of hopes that at the end of the interview, I'll get that call, congratulations, but it never happened. And Coach, I've never told you this, even when we talk one-on-one. Last year, I did 9 interviews, and
wow,
I was like, I'm not going to go for the 10th interview without having a job. And I started watching you last year when I was just like 2 weeks into the Scrum class I was doing last year. But in my head, I was like, Scrum is Scrum now. The same Scrum this Karen is teaching, being agile, is the same Scrum they are doing in this other group. So I will watch your videos on YouTube, but I was still in my old Scrum group. So I watch your videos from time to time. I really saw the value in your class, but I was like, it's the same thing, what this guy is saying. But after all the interviews, I knew that there's something that I'm not doing right. And I'll tell you guys, the first day I joined this class, the first session, Zoom session on a Monday, immediately after the class, I text Karen and told her that I've seen value in this class. I know that I'm at the right place. Just after this class, I know that this will be my final bus stop. And there was a question she addressed the first day I got to this class. The question, this very popular question surrounding how you work with your product owner. That question lives rent-free in my head. If you wake me up in the morning and ask me that question, I will answer that question. And I will say that's what sold me with my recruiter when we're talking. So I just want to thank Karen for everything that she has done. And if you have been in this group and it hasn't happened for you, don't worry. It will happen for everyone. Just be committed and follow the directions here. You don't need to know everything, like Avina said, like Benjamina said, you don't need to know everything in that drive. If you are opportune to watch the whole drive, fine. But if you have kids and you are so busy, you can't watch everything, that's okay. But there are certain things that are questions that come all the time. From my experience last year, there are certain questions that I haven't gone to any interview that they haven't shown up. Take note of those questions and make sure that you flow seamlessly with those questions. And I tell you, even if you don't, in my interview, I didn't answer one question correctly. And Coach gave me feedback on that interview. And I went to and my last interview was in person. I was so scared. But when I went for that last interview, that was the first question they asked me. And I crushed that question. So I just want to say that you must not have all your questions right on your interview, but your approach, your confidence, and the way you talk, that's what is going to sell you. I want to thank everyone.
Beautiful. I see how people are really praising you from the Jira platform, that you've been very instrumental. Team, this is all part of the process. Part of you learning is you giving back. Don't be selfish with your knowledge. Share it. You sharing it is a part of you learning. And now everyone knows Bernice as the giver of knowledge in the Jira platform. That's the thing. And with that, she's also developed, just by sharing, typing, or thinking it through to give it to someone, it's part of you learning. That's it. That's how it works. Sometimes people think I'm very generous with, I share everything. Oh, nice. They don't know I'm first doing it for myself. Me, I'm the first person on my mind, even before you all. Trust me. I'm prioritizing me, my learning first. So me giving it out there is how I learn. I keep it going. I keep the learning alive. You see. So Bernice, thank you so much. I know that you will thrive in this space. And I'm hoping to, in the next future, you and Benjamina invites you, just like I've done with Alvina today, to come and share your experience, you know. That's amazing. So does anyone have any question for Bernice? Okay, I think that's it for today. Team, thank you all so much. If anyone is curious to know anything more about how our program works, that is, if you're not part of this class already, please feel free to reach out, send an email, reach out with our website or call us directly, and we will be more than happy to assist you. Benjamina, if this recording comes to you, please kindly share. But if not, I would also check my end to see if it came to me. All right, thanks. No, it's not going to come to me. I guess, yeah. All right, whatever the case is, please let us get the recording so we can save it. Take care, everyone, and bye.
Thanks, Coach.